Hello everyone. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening to all you all. So wherever you are joining from this beautiful plant of ours. So let's just give this a couple of minutes and wait for a few other folks to join in so that we can start the webinar. So maybe we can start at 17:03. So which is in 2 minutes from now. So we'll just give this 2 minutes. Thanks to everyone who have already joined us as we are waiting. So yeah, just give this another minute and then maybe we can start. Okay, so I guess we can get started now. So hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening again. Welcome to our Virtuoso Master Enablement webinar series. So this is the last webinar and the last session for this year. So first, I would like to take a moment and thank all of you guys, whoever has been part of these sessions this year. Thank you so much for being so keen on learning and upscaling yourselves. This goes out to all you guys and season's greetings from Virtuoso team side. And as a part of today's session, we are going to present a session on integrating Virtuoso with third-party applications. So for this session, we have Asha, who is our presenter. Asha is from the partner enablement team, and she is well versed with the Virtuoso integration concepts. So I welcome you all to this session once again, and let's move ahead. So, yeah, I encourage all of you guys to stay till the end of this session, where we're going to have a quiz on the and a small poll on the topics that were covered today in this session. And five lucky winners are going to get an Amazon card worth GBP 20. So I encourage all of you guys to stay till the end and participate in this. And before we can get started and work on the agenda, there is a small housekeeping thing that I would like to inform you all. So chat is already enabled for you guys for to help you guys interact with the other folks in the session. While the chat option is also there, we also have a Q&A option wherein you can drop in your questions regarding this session, where we have our specialists on the call who will help you answer them. And if not, then those questions can be taken at the end of the session. So please feel free to use both the chats and the Q&A mode of communication to speak with us. To maintain uniformity, we have disabled audio for all of you guys in the chat. However, you will be able to listen to us from the speakers. So that's that. And alongside that, just feel free to interact with the community in the chat, and then we'll help you out over there. So, we can quickly cover the agenda. So, agenda for this call is we'll have a quick recap on whatever we were discussing in the previous session, and a quick recap on the Virtuoso tool. And then I'm going to hand this over to Asha, who's going to help you understand Virtuoso integration with CI tools. So CI is continuous integration, as you guys might know already. So she'll pick up one CI tool of her choice and help her show you the Virtuoso integration for that. Similarly, we also have an integration on the test management tools. So we'll show one of the tools from there. We'll demonstrate. And then also how Virtuoso interacts with the messaging apps. So for example, Slack, and also we'll just show you how to integrate Virtuoso with Slack messaging apps and all that. So with this, maybe we can come to the next slide, and I can quickly give you an introduction on Virtuoso. So as you guys might know already, Virtuoso is a low code test automation tool. Like this actually helps you to write your tests in like the plain simple English via the use of our NLPs. We have self-healing, which basically when you run your test cases, it will like kind of heal. It will show you the incorrect wherever your test cases are freezing. It will kind of try and self-maintain it and show you the output where you want to like heal it or fix it or not. You have AI assistants where basically you can generate your test data and you can generate all your test data journey summaries with AI. And you can also watch create AI extensions which are in JavaScript just by asking the AI to what do you want the functionality to be, and the AI can actually get that done for you. You have end-to-end testing wherein like you can basically automate web and API test cases, and also with visual regression capabilities, and then you can basically run those tests end to end. We have cross-browser tests wherein basically you create a test and then you can run that test in any number of basically operating systems which are available, or any number of devices which are available and across browsers. uh, all this basically enables you to basically shift all your tests to left, basically testing enabling you to test earlier the applications that you have. And with this I would like to hand the baton to Asha, who can continue with the session. So Asha, here you go.
Thank you, Kamal. Hello, everyone. Can you please confirm if I am audible and my voice is loud and clear? Okay, I see a thumbs up. Um, Thanks, the confirmation. Hello, everyone. Let's begin. And before we dive into how do we integrate Virtuoso with CI tool, I just want to give a little brief about this integration and all the topics, right? Any test automation, and be it using core and codeless, or even with the bare concept, that is, the functional testing, the test maturity happens when you are able to integrate your test process of the dev and then the quality, the assessment engineering process, right? So with respect to any test automation we deal, the tool or the platform's ease or the usage would be more known when you check how easy it is to integrate or how capable it is to integrate, right? And with the integration, I do believe that the entire test automation suite kind of matures. So integration as in concept comes in, I would say, at a more mature part of your test automation, wherein you'll identify your test suites, and then you create your journeys, then you kind of identify your planners, and then you go with the integration. So integration, we kind of take it as last step of the continuous process that kind of goes in. So that was little brief about the integration. And now today, I'm going to let you all know how we can integrate Virtuoso with all the various third-party applications that we can have, and how easy or how it is made in a way repeatable or reusable, or if you look at the framework, right? I'm going to give you the overview of the framework or the skeleton of it, so that you will understand how quick or how easy it is to integrate one application with Virtuoso, and how there's a little nuances and you don't need extra skill set to integrate another sets of test management tool or any of the messaging or the integration of the continuous integration tool, right? So first, we are going to deal with CI tool. I'm sure everyone here might be aware of CI/CD, but let me also give a brief about, what is CI/CD and why do we need to integrate it. So we all know that, we are moving towards achieving everything in a very fast pace. Every development cycle, every testing cycle, and even the sprint is moving towards a shorter end, right? In that aspect, though we have a test automation, let's suppose a suite of 100 or 200 test cases, we wouldn't want it to be manually triggered or manually enabled, right? So we want this to be very easy and to be continuously enabled. Maybe let's suppose there is a deployment that's happening from the dev end, and we would want that deployment to be tested quickly and with no dependency with any sorts of ever, right? And for that process, this CI/CD kind of in place. We have a code that kind of checks into maybe from the development, and it gets checked into pipeline, and that pipeline kind of deploys the code into the environment that you choose. And now with the integration, what we can do is we can also test if our what say the deployment, the code that has been deployed into this environment is working as expected or not. How do we do it? We can have our own regression suite identified for this, or we can have a sanity suite identified for this. There are multiple tools that is available uh, in market right now, for to support the CI/CD. And I'm gonna give a very brief demonstration using one of them, right? And with Virtuoso, it very simple process. Let's suppose once we integrate it, as I said, when our test suite is mature, when we are sure of, these are the journeys of mine which needs to be executed after, let's suppose, ABC deployments, or maybe weekly deployments or monthly deployments, then I can identify those test goals or journeys, and I can integrate them into my pipeline, which is into any of the development pipeline. It can be integrated. And once that is done, what happens is whenever there is any deployment, you will get your test results. You can quickly say, hey, there is something that is failing. So you don't need to wait for that, you're kind of removing your manual interference dependency, and B, you are able to, kind of check fast because it is integrated quickly, doesn't need to wait for anything. And C, you can also help them, catch bugs. Let's suppose there is some configuration issue, or there is some actual, defects that's there, right? So you can quickly catch those issues and defects, and then you can, uh, 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 help, the entire delivery quality to be, improved. And we all know, a defect that is that's part of the first stage is, it's less costly, or I would say, less cheaper to fix it than it is if it is caught in the production. So, it helps in achieving these things. Any integration with. Now let me just go into Virtuoso, and then, what are the things that we would need. So Virtuoso, as in, we are heavily, API driven. So all of our APIs are hosted in our docs.virtuoso a website, where you can quickly look into all of the endpoints, and how do we do it? What are the things that is needed? What is is it the post? Is it a get? What is the type of APIs that we are having? What everything, all the details are available. So what do we do is we make use of these endpoints that you can see in the slide. So if we have to execute a goal, we are going to use that API, which has goal ID as part of its endpoint. And if we have to execute a plan, we're going to use execution plan. There's an execution plan ID which we can get it. I'm going to show you in a while. We're going to use that to execute it, and we can, integrate it into. I'm going to show a very simple one, but we can also enhance this integration by using maybe a shell script, which we can customize it, and we can choose our sets of goals, or the multiple goal IDs. We can integrate it, or multiple plans. We can execution IDs using, execution ID. We can integrate it. And how does it work? As I mentioned, right, we can write these commands that I'm going to show in the pipeline configuration. It can be a Jenkins file, it can be a YAML file, or any of that sort. And also along with this, right, it is very easy to retrieve the results also, the feedback, and then that feedback can be maybe integrated into your communication system, through the CI tool that you are preferring, and we can use that for our better inference. So that's the theory of setting up CI/CD with Virtuoso. I'm going to take an example of Jenkins, and I'm going to give a demo. Mm, I'm switching back to integration slide. Can you please confirm? Can you please confirm if you can see my Virtuoso organization dashboard?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So this is the dashboard of Virtuoso. This is already created dashboard. This is our delivery team dashboard, where you can see a lot of projects created. And I'm using a mature project for that reason. All the integration related activities are done in the app section. I'm going to take you guys to the app section. So these are added applications. For example, if it's a new organization, right, then you will not have these in added, but you will have them in recommended sections of it. The same application would be there in the recommended section. So that is about the apps related one, all these. Now for Jenkins, you didn't need this. We need a API token. So let me go to my profile. So you'll have to get to your profile, and there is a section called API tokens. This what it does is it kind of helps you create a token which can be used either for bridge or for another section, for all the purpose. Now, as I said, right, Virtuoso is all we are integrating Virtuoso using Virtuoso APIs to Jenkins, right? So these Virtuoso APIs need some authentication to say, hey, it's a genuine connection, or I know this person, or I know this user. So for that purpose, we need to generate a token. Now, you'll have to click on create token. You can add a node. Let me just give or webinar. So here is the token type. As you can see, if I select on all, it says gives a full access, and it is limited by user role in the organizational system. So I would say, as per the project, it has to be restricted, and there's a process that you can define. Now, if I select bridge, it says it's only for bridge. So what is bridge? You'll know it little later stages. So this is the all. Let me just click on all because I need whatever the token that I am generating, it needs to be accessed. Maybe be it for execution, be it for goal, if I'm executing via journey, any of that purpose. And I'm just selecting. Now there is an ID. I copied it and I clicked on OK. But for the security reason, I didn't show that for a longer time. So I have copied the token. Let me just quickly save it. So please save that token ID, because if you lost it, then you'll have to generate a new one. So as you can see, I have created demo webinar. Just it says with the timestamp. Now let me go back to my configured Jenkins. So this is where I have posted my Jenkins. This is basically the local host. Let me just refresh, so that the session gets active. Yeah. Now here, what I have to do is I'll have to go here in manage Jenkins. Once I click here, there is credentials. I'll click on configure credentials. And here I'll go on, click on globals. So this is where I can add credentials. So let me add a credential. Click on add credential. Here I have to select, is it username with password? No, but I'm giving the secret text. The secret text is going to be my the token, right? So let me give a secret ID, which I just copied. Give me a second. Now I'm entering that. So I'll have to give an ID. Remember that this ID will be used as your variable even in your pipeline. So you'll have to give, let me just give it as, then and underscore webinar. I'm going to copy that as well as I need it for the later usage. So I'm creating it. So once I created, you can see, the demo webinar is visible here. Now I'll go back to dashboard because now I have to create a pipeline and then I have to trigger, right? Before I trigger, I have to select what should be my execution. Should I need to execute a journey or should I need to execute for now, for demonstration purpose, I will be executing from, the journey using the goal ID. So let me quickly go and select the goal ID. I'm just refreshing the session and let me go to my goal. So this is the goal I am selecting for today. Uh, Here, as you can see, if you can see the web link or the web address of this, here you can see this ID represents project ID, which is like project slash, and then there is this goal slash. The ID followed by goal slash would be your goal ID. So I'm copying that goal ID for my use. I would need it for later usage. So right now, if I can recap, right? We did an API, we just generated an API token and we copied it. We then copied the same, or we created a global variable in the credentials and we kept that and we noted the ID of that global variable. And then we also took the goal ID of it. Now let me go back to Jenkins and I'll have to create an item. So here I'm trying to create a pipeline. Let me give a name to it. I'm going to say demo webinar pipeline. Now I've given the name. I have to select a pipeline. selected a pipeline. Then I'll just give. So once this is done, there is general description and all. So you can fill it, but there's no need for that. So I'm going to quickly move to the actual portion of it. That is pipeline script. So I need to write a script. Now I have to write, I do have something written. So I'm going to copy it, but we're going to try and edit a couple of things, right? Now here, the goal ID here, if you see, it says 148623. So I'm going to take you through each and every line. Here, if you see, we are creating a pipeline. We don't agent is any environment. We are giving a Virtuoso API URL. So you have to execute, picking things from this. So this is our API. This is the goal ID we are giving. Bash path is where I have configured my bash, and this is where I've configured my JQ files. Yeah, if you have Jenkins configured, I have configured Jenkins on my local. So yeah, this is all my local address. Now here, if you see, this is the credential ID that it is written, right? But I did mention the credential ID and the variable is nothing but the token that we kind of created in Jenkins. So let me replace this with the token ID that I have created. That is demo webinar. I'm doing that, and now I'm replacing variable. So both credentials ID and variables are used as a variable. So I'm just renaming it. I'm sorry, replacing it. Once this is done, I'm just checking, have we written everything as expected? So I did enter all these IDs. I'm just double checking each and everything. Once it is done, I'm clicking on apply and I'm saving it. Now, in the meantime, if you have any questions, kindly please ask in the QA panel. If our experts will answer, if not, I'm going to answer it if you have any answer. Now, this is the pipeline that I have created. I'll have to build it now. Now, if you see, let me go back here. I'll check the project activity. As you can see, there is no activity that is executing right now. If you see the current session. Now, let me just build. Okay, and let me click on this. As you can see, what is happening. Console output. There is a failure. Now it says, okay. So there is a failure. Let me just look at it. Okay, so let me just go back to my pipeline, configure. And I'm just checking if have I replaced things as expected. Okay. Mhm. Just give me a second. Let me quickly check. Let me quickly stop sharing and check the ID that I have written. Is it as expected? The secret key, basically. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. I'm sharing. Okay. Now, yeah, let's try to build again and see if it's working now. Okay. So there was a bit of mismatch with the ID, maybe, extra spaces. So I just copied and pasted. So let's see. It says execution status started, outcome not reached. So in the meantime, if you can see here, let me refresh it quickly and see if there is, yeah. Here, as you can see, right, less than a minute ago, there is a trigger, right? This was from Jenkins. And if I click on it and show you the goal ID, you can see the goal ID matches with the ID that I give, that is 14862C, right? Let me go back. Now here, if you see, everything is passed. So let me go back here and see what is the output it is giving. So here, as you can see, it is executed and it says the outcome is passed. And along with that, you do have an execution link. If I click on this, it kind of takes me to the same execution link that I showed just a while ago. So I'm switching a window so that you can also see, it was the same execution that I kind of showed. So you can see the execution ID is ending with 70, and from the Jenkins that I directed also has 70, right? Let me go back. This is about the Jenkins integration. So you can, all you would need is couple of credentials and you can integrate it. But a small tip or a hint is to be careful about uh, the API tokens that you're going to store and also the variables that you're going to name it. That's needed and that's useful. And the second hint would be please check the privileges. So you would have to have the privileges in intact, and it has to be handy. Now, quickly, let's move to the next integration, that is test management tool. All of us being in a QA domain, I think we all know the test management is like a core of any test automation process or any of the test cases. So all of our test cases are maintained there. We are raising defects or anything there. Now, if there is no integration, what happens? There needs a person to be there or a process to be enabled so that it helps you identify it. You first execute it and then you identify it and then you raise a defect or you flag it to a person who then checks it and then he says, is that a defect or not? This is the process. Now, what we will do is we will eliminate this by integrating a the test automation tool, that is our Virtuoso, with any of the test management process. Here I have taken Jira because I looked into the most used and I thought, Jira is familiar with to all of us. And the process is same. So, and that's the reason I kind of use this. So Jira is like, as you all know, but still I'll give a little brief. Jira is a centralized issue tracking platform. It is used by most of the developers, tester. It also has a project management space where you have all your effects and everything, maintained there. Now here, what happens with the integration with Virtuoso, which I'm going to show it you in some time, is when we execute something and when we create tickets, right? There is ticket that is created in Virtuoso, and that is automatically linked to Jira as well. And we also have along not just the ticket, right? We also have a screenshot, the steps, and what is it trying to do, and what where when it failed, what is the screenshot, the state of the application, so that you look into it and pretty much you can know that what's happening. And addition to that, now let's say there is a person that is doing something over Jira. Let's suppose you have raised a defect from Virtuoso, and then you are waiting for the updates to be done, right? So if a third person does an update in Jira, then it automatically gets synced to Virtuoso. And that's one of the major the good features is what I'm gonna say. Now, apart from that, how do we, integrate it here? As I said, we need only a couple of things, as you can see. In just three big umbrella, I can show you. All we need to do is we need to go into integration, add some credentials, and we need to look into the projects configured, and we need to map them and create the ticket. Once the ticket is created, then we can, manage it. So without further ado, let me quickly jump back and I can show. This is the organization dashboard. Let me go back to organization dashboard. I'm going to go into app section. So this Jira software for project issue and tracking, that is the application. So because I have installed it, it's already says it's installed. If not, it's gonna give uninstall app. And if you see it's installed by user, what is the date and what is the time frame, every details is maintained. Now this is where the configuration happens at one time. There is one Jira project that can be configured or it can do a entire organization. Let me quickly show. These are the Jira URL, then couple of parameters that we would need: the URL, user email, API, and what is the instance type. Let me go back and my Jira application. So this is my Jira board. Let me just refresh to active the session. Yep. So this is my Jira board. I have just put a filter. Let me remove the filter and so that everything is. So you can see that there are a couple of to-do items in the board, and there are certain items that are in progress and certain that are done, right? Typical Jira board. Um, one hint here, you need to have admin credentials and admin privileges for you to do this integration. And let me just quickly perform the integration. There are certain things that you would need in Jira. One would be your active project, which is my active project is demo project. I'm going to use the same. And then here in the settings, you would need API tokens again. So all you have to do is just get into your give me a second, manage account. Yeah, once I get into my manage account, go into security. Here you will have API tokens, create and manage tokens. And here you can create a token. Just give the name, and then you can also set your expiry date, what should be the expiry date, and then you can create it. I have already created one token, which is, by the name Virtuoso. I am just keeping it. I have it handy. So I'm going to use the same thing. Now let me go back to app configuration. So here, if you see there is a URL, let me quickly remove this so that, you will know how everything is created. Yeah, and label as well. Now, this is the Jira URL. You will also see a auto-populated or a few cues or messages which helps you understand what is your URL. So, right? So this is my Jira board. I'll go to this Jira board, and this is going to be my Jira instance. I've copied the Jira instance and I've pasted it here. And this is the email ID. So let me enter my email ID, taking it from here. And token, yeah, I have saved the token. So this token would be the one that you would have saved while you were, generating it. Let me quickly take that and paste it. Instance type is cloud. So it's already written here. Mine is stored in cloud. So I give that. So here the label is going to be the indicator. So if there is anything that is raised, the etiquette created from here, it shows integration as label. So I'm going to give it as demo webinar. So I've saved the configuration. Now, because of the time, let me execute a very simple um, test goal, and then I'll showcase how we can generate a ticket. Or let me just pick the one that is failed so that you'll know how do we generate it. This is the fail journey. Let me just re-execute because it's gonna take very short amount of time. It's running. I've clicked on it, so we can see. I have expected it to fail in the third step. Let's see if it is gonna fail. Yep, it has failed. So now we have done the integration. Now the second step here would be any of the execution that has been failed. We'll have to reach to that execution, execution window. And then at the fail step, you have to click on the ticket section. Here, click on create ticket. So you will have to select the project. Mine was demo project. Here you see, this is my project, issue type. So here my issue is bug. Now, if let's suppose you're creating some task, maybe you need to update some steps or anything like that, you can change it as according to you. And see, this is the label I was talking about. So this label will be translated, or it will be moved to Jira also. So the variable I gave is demo webinar. Let me just give some s, and let me give today's date. I'm in 12 and my time is 17:34. So here you can see you can edit this description, and there is a link which that helps you kind of redirect to this journey. And it also says what is the environment that you're using, what is the browser that you're testing with. In case of cross browser testing, you would need that. And then there are screenshots that says, hey, this was state of your screen, and we were trying to find this. Now I'm creating the ticket. Here you see it is being added. Now it says added. Let me come back here. Here you see, I don't see anything. Quickly, let me refresh. Moment of truth. Yeah, yeah. As you can see here, this is the new bug that I have created, test 1912. Let me click on this and show you how it looks in from Jira board, right? Apologies. This is the description that I gave in that window. So the same thing has been given. And if I click on this, and if let's suppose I have access to Virtuoso, then I'll be directly taken to that step. So there is no need for, back and forth communication. There is this attachment which says, hey, this was the screenshot of your application. This is how it looked before it failed, and or while it failed. Now this is the progress or the status of it. Now let me change it to in progress. I have accepted it as a defect and I'm changing it to in progress. Now when I do this in progress change, please here, this also has been changed as in progress. Status has been changed as in progress. Now if I here change it back to done, here pay the ticket. It's give me. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So here, if you can see, you don't see ticket in active status because it has been done. That has been there has been some action to be done. It has been moved under closed status. So anything that has been completed will be moved under closed status. Now, I have put the filter to closed. I am again going back. Let's suppose I'm just going again back to in progress. You can see it has moved to active state. So you can understand how quick the communication is and how quickly, the status has been changed. It's like the to and fro communication that is happening. Now, if let's suppose I say, no, I don't want this to be proceeded. I don't want this to be linked here. I would want this to be separated, tracked separately. I can go here and I can unlink the ticket. And if let's say here I have changed the task type or from bug I've changed it to something else, I've moved it into a task, then again here also the config the parameters and the value changes. And that was about the integration with test management and how do we do it with Virtuoso. And let me quickly move to the last section that is with messaging app, right? I'm sure every one of us are using the test communication platform for our daily communications, conversations, updates, everything as such. And how good it would be, all of our executions or some of our executions communicated via our messaging app. So we have considered that fact and we have made Slack integration or any of the integrations with the Virtuoso easier. So I'm going to show today Slack integration. How do we do the Slack integration? But before I go into demo, let me give you a brief about how do we do it. So here the key features that we have is there will be a channel that you can decide how and who should be a part of it, and you can add our Virtuoso app. And once it is added, all these high priority tests and any of the failures that we are going to configure, notify to those users. And how do we set it up? It's very easy. I would say there are only three things that's needed. One would be your Slack webhook URL, the app that you're going to create and the URL of the app. And once that app URL is done, we just need to add our Virtuoso app, from the Virtuoso and add that webhook. And you just have to click on these notification preferences from your execution status. So are the very simple steps that we need to do it for Slack integration. Let me quickly go back into demo. I'm again going back to organization. Let me go back. I'm refreshing it. And here, if you see in the install section, you have Slack. And if I configure app, you see here there's only three parameters. One would be what would be your webhook and why do you, I mean, when do you want this to be enabled? Whether is it for executions, in the sense all executions, or is it only for executions via plans? Inside the plans as well, there are certain things that you can do. If time permits, I'm going to showcase that. Now here, what I would do is this is one of my API Slack app that I have created. I'll show you the difference of these two. Here, if you can see, right, there are two apps that I have created. One is Virtuoso Execution, one is just demo app. This demo app, it is freshly, let's say it is created just now. It has these basic information. Now, any of the when you are creating any integration, you'll have to go into this HTTPS API, like API sections of app sections of this Slack, and then you'll have to go into app creation. Let me see if I have this. Yeah, yeah, here it is. So here, click on create app. Once you create, you can create from scratch, and maybe you can add some basic information and create it. So once it is created, you will have at the info section this shown. So I have already created, so I'm going to use that information. Now here, once it is done, you have this under features, you have a step called or an option called incoming webhooks. You have to activate this incoming webhooks. So once it is activated, you'll just there is an option add new webhook to workspace. So once I add this, once I click on this, right, it shows which channel you wanted. So and another hint here is you need to have workspace admin access for you to do all these stuff. So this, let's suppose this is my channel, Virtuoso Slack test. I am adding this app. So I have added here. Now, once that is added, you will have a webhook URL. I'm just copying this. Yeah. So once it is copied, I'm taking the same thing here and I'm replacing the old one with this and I'm saving it. I need enablement for, sorry, notification to be enabled for execution plans and execution. So I'm saving this. So this is saved. Let me come back to my workspace. This is Virtuoso. As you can see here, there is this integration done and there has been already an execution. Somebody has triggered, right? You see, Virtuoso was successfully launched. Now let me go back and trigger an execution. Now let me trigger the same execution that we performed just a while. Okay, here you go. Let me move this here so you can know it. Now you see the time here is for me 1742. Let me re-execute. Now, once I do this, you can also see that an execution has been launched notification. Yeah. So you can see there is an execution that is launched and it is failed, and this is your failed journey. So this is the communication that you would get. Now let me quickly go here to see what is happening here. The execution shows, hey, this is the execution, you try doing it. Now I don't want the execution, I want to go into goal. What is the goal of this? Now this is the goal from where the execution has been started. You'll move there. This is the goal view. This is now let me go back here. This should be the project view, and it shows you what is the project. So in case if you want to move around, so you'll get the entire details of it. Now, once this is done, this is the fail journey. Now, this would be enabled only for fail journey. So if you click on this fail journey, you will see, let's suppose we have executed some 10, 20, out of this journey, there are, goals. We have done 10, 20 journeys. Sorry. Out of that, if there is some 2 or 3 failed, then you will see all these 2 or 3 fail in this communication link. So this was about Slack integration, which is very simple. You need to have admin access. You need to create an app, enable the webhook. Once it is enabled, take the same information, come back to Virtuoso, paste it, and then you're good to go. Test it once. So this was about Slack integration. Now, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take. And before I move into questions, I'm going to hand it over to Vimal. I do see questions.
Yes,
Yes,
Asha. So there is a question in the chat.
Mhm. Can you explain how integration with Jira XML is working for test executions? Any possibilities for use to troubleshoot in Virtuoso? I see what is received. Okay. 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 I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. Yes, we do have Jira X-ray integration. This was not planned as part of agenda, uh, but there is of course, there is a capability supported here for Jira X-ray as well. For that also, you would not need much of uh, configurations done. So yes, we do support. And yeah, all the test executions are supported with that. Let me see if I can get X-ray integration related one. So we are integrating project with X-ray, and we are managing it. How is the integration with Jira X-ray working and executing using Planner? So it is the same. So if I ask, Jira is basically what it does is, let's suppose there is a goal or there is an execution that is planned or that is created, right? So in a project, all these goals and all this execution that is maybe under test, added under test suite of the X-ray, right? That that is tracked under test suite of the X-ray. And if suppose I have, as I showed here and in previous example, if I have a Jira, sorry, if I have a goal and then I'm executing the journey, one journey out of that goal, entire history of that journey and then the execution would be tracked in Jira. Any plans to integrate with MS Teams? So here, I did show, the Slack as one example, but we do support other messaging apps. So there is no, I would say there is no like a disclaimer that it doesn't support or something. Let me quickly go back and show you in case, let's suppose, thank you for the question, though. Uh, Here, if you can see, right, there is an option for you also to create a custom app and then integrate it. Now, let's suppose not MS, right? There is another custom APIs or custom URL that you guys are maintaining. You as in the project is maintaining, and we would want that to be integrated, and it is not hosted anywhere. So in that case, you can build your own app, and of course, you can reach out to us, and we are there to help. So here, you can just give the app name and then you can get the webhook of it. I'm sure even for MS Teams, we get the webhook and then the credentials, the details, and couple of things, and we can create the app in the same way. So, uh, if there is any requirement, kindly please let us know. We can help you with that, and if not, you can try with this. So, this is for the applications which are not, straight through or which are not used by everyone. And the other one that I showed was kind of recommended by, it's kind of like used by everyone, and that's the reason it is recommended by us. And Kamal did put another documentation for X-ray requirements, so kindly please go through. Let me quickly go back and show. This is the X-ray test management that we have done. So you can create a couple of Jira instances, and you can have them configured however you would like. So this is the ones I have done. It is the same process as I mentioned, right? In this at the start of the webinar, the process would remain the same. The parameters or the level of the integration that is done with one application, and if we want to try it for another one, there would not be much of the deviation done. So that is about question and answers. Kamal, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Asha. And yeah, I can just say that this was a really insightful session on the topic that was covered. And I think everybody got to learn a lot from this. I think everyone should agree. And thank you so much for taking this session. So next up we have is a small quiz. So let me just uh, launch the quiz. So you have 10 questions from the topics that were already covered in today's session. So just please try to complete them in like 10 minutes, and then maybe I'll stop the quiz and I'll pass on some information to you regarding what's planned for the next year. So I'm just quickly launching the quiz. Maybe someone can confirm if it is launched or not by a thumbs up icon. Okay, yeah, I do see a couple of thumbs up. So yeah, you have 10 minutes of time. So yeah, just please try to complete this, and then I'm going to quickly tell you what's up for the next year. Okay, just like checking for time. I see 5 minutes have passed, so like maybe another 4 5 minutes for you guys. So yeah, just hurry up. For the ones who have already completed the quiz, I have posted a feedback link in the chat, and like I would appreciate it if you can give us a feedback, as your feedback will help us improve in the future sessions. So yeah, you can go through it, please. Just a couple of minutes more, guys. So please rush so much. Thank you for your feedback, Tony. So a minute more, guys. 60 seconds. So Aliande, the winners would be announced the next week on our LinkedIn. All right, I'll be stopping the quiz now. Thank you so much for taking part in the quiz. And yeah, I have an announcement to make. So first of all, thank you so much to everyone for helping us and like helping us drive this in a very efficient manner. We finally conclude the webinar drive that we had for 2024. What's up next? The next year is basically we are planning to do a virtuoso learning days event. So in that event, like we'll basically start from February, and like just please be posted. We'll quickly gonna post the links of that invite and all that in our LinkedIn so that you can keep updated. And I do recommend you all to please join in as well for that. And with that, I would like to thank all of you guys for taking a part in this session. Hope you have a great new year and wish you a Merry Christmas from my side. Thank you so much.